Well, hey, everybody, I'm Jen in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, comfort food normally comes in two genres, savory or sweet. Today, I'm going to talk about grits or polenta, which can satisfy both those categories. So if you're a savory comfort food person, go for the grits. If you're a sweet comfort food person, you can also go for the grits. Grits and polenta, I just want to let you know, are basically the same thing. So it all starts with the basic ratio, 3 parts liquid, 1 part grit or polenta. So anyway, I've got boiling water. I'm going to whisk in my grits. I'm using a white grit, and it's very important to whisk it in because it will clump up. So it's very thin. If you can see in my pan, I'm going to turn it down a little bit to low. And we're going to let this cook. Got that all whisked in. I turned it down to simmer. I'm going to cover it. This is a yellow grit, and it's just made from yellow corn. This is a white grit made from white corn. And I found the white in the cereal aisle. It was right with the cereal, so with the oatmeal and things like that. And then the yellow is usually in the baking section of the grocery store. Just a little bit about cornmeal, which is also made from cornmeal. It is best for baking. You can kind of make a creamy grit with it, but it's better for baking, like your cornbread. Even some cakes and cookies can use that. All right, let's check on how we're doing. Look at this. It's thickened up nicely already. Starting to thicken up. And so I'm making 2 kinds of grits today, and I'm going to do it from the same batch. So what I'm going to do is take half of this out and switch it into another pan. So we'll make our sweet first. And I'm going to put this on the back burner and cover it and let it continue to thicken up a little more for our savory. This is what we've got already. You see how much, and that took no time at all. And what I want to do, since I'm making a sweet porridge for dessert, is I'm going to add some milk to this. So this is coconut milk from the refrigerated section, not from the can. You can use the canned milk. It's a little bit thicker. And I'm going to add that in there. And this will keep it from getting really stiff and firm. All right, I'm going to show you the savory. The sweet is thickening up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to make a savory grit here. And so this would be like for a dinner grit. And you can put anything on top of this, anything that you would put on top of pasta or a potato. Awesome. What I have here is some nutritional yeast, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and some smoked paprika. I'm going to stir that in there and let it blend up. And while I'm doing this, I just want to share with you that the grits are loaded with great protein, fiber, but also a good amount of folate. About 1 cup of grits will have about 25% of your daily intake of folate, as well as iron, 8% of your iron requirements for the day. So look at this. We've got, actually for a nice savory grit, I probably would let it cook a lot longer, like maybe 25, 30 minutes. I would keep it covered, and about every 5 to 10 minutes, go in there and give it a stir to keep it from sticking. But the beauty of this is, for a savory grit, you can eat it as is. And if you are transitioning from a standard American diet to a vegan diet, and you're looking for your traditional comfort food grits, in the South, they do add a lot of butter, but there is the Earth Balance. You could add some Earth Balance margarine to it while you're transitioning out of the standard American diet, and just keep backing off on that fat, and you'll really appreciate the grits and be able to taste them a lot better too. There is also vegan cheeses that you can stir in there if you need to, or if you're serving it to people who won't eat it without a cheese in there. They really won't be able to tell the difference. But a great way to serve this if you're having friends over, you can put out a tray of all these great vegetables and tofu. I think I'm going to put some greens here. I have some beet greens and some kale. Put this on my dish. Oh, caramelized onions. Yeah, I had some of those in the fridge. And everyone, if you're doing this at a dinner party, everybody can make their own, put their own together. It's really awesome to do. Barbecue tofu that we had some leftovers, put some of that on there. Oh, and roasted cauliflower and Brussels sprouts, and of course some roasted tomato too. So that is a really delicious, healthy, savory dish. So we've got a nice and creamy grit going on here. I'm going to add, to sweeten it up, some raisins. That's one of my favorite sweeteners to use. And I also discovered the other day condensed coconut milk. It is sweetened with some sugar, but it's really good. I'm going to put a little bit of that in there. It was so awesome. Stir that in. Now, if this had about 5 more minutes to cook, really, it would be a lot thicker. But let's pour it in the bowl. And I'm going to top it with some great Louisiana blueberries from last season. They're from my freezer. I have some blanched almonds out on top. I'm going to put a little flaxseed on there. I get some omega-3s. It's ground flaxseed. And then pour it with a little bit of maple syrup on top. And there is a great sweet comfort food made from grits. Now the savory grits, if you let them cool down, they will get firm. So I have made, and this is traditionally what you think of as polenta. So I poured some into a loaf pan and I ended up with this. And what I did then was I sliced it and I broiled it. And that would be great with if you put some bruschetta on top and serve it as a bruschetta with your dinner as an appetizer or with your meal. And poured it into a sheet pan and made a thin layer of polenta. And what I do with this is I will slice it and make it fit my lasagna pan. And I will put a layer in the lasagna pan and cover it with roasted veggies and put some fat-free marinara sauce on top of that, and then put another layer of polenta on top of that, and you have a delicious lasagna. Especially if you're gluten-free and you love your croutons, as you can take them and cut up the ones you put in the loaf pan and bake them and make some wonderful croutons. I hope you can see how easy grits are to make at home, and definitely avoid those instant grits that are lacking all the nutrients that are in the whole stone ground grit, and enjoy your comfort food, whether you're a savory person or a sweet person. And there's often times when I can't decide if I'm a savory or a sweet gal. So luckily the grits satisfy all of that.